Peace and blessings, brothers and sisters. I'm back to do a journal entry. This journal entry was written on 7/22/21. It is Dear Ma. Dear Mom. And before I start reading, I would like to say that anyone coming across these videos, if you don't know by now, I would like to inform you that if you found yourself in cycles of toxic and abusive relationships, or cycles of detrimental behavior, more than likely that stems from your childhood, your upbringing, whether it was a mother, father, or any caregiver. These things were implanted or carried over from a previous generation or some such occurrence. This what I'm about to read, this ain't easy, y'all. This even more difficult than the last journal entry. This where it began for me. And this was a part of my healing. And I'd like to point out as well that when I wrote this was the set apart spirit beginning to open my eyes. Since then, I've been made aware of plenty more. I could add so much more to this. But this is where I was in 2021. And I'm going to read it because I am almost positive. I am positive that many women or girls that come past this video, this channel, they're going to see a lot of what they've gone through in what I'm about to read. And that is to let you know that you're not by yourself. It didn't just happen to you. And you don't have to be quiet about it. You don't have to be depressed about it. You don't have to suffer. It's more prevalent than you know. And Yah is bringing healing to his daughters and to his sons. I'm sure that I'm not a male, but I know you some of you men out there done been through some stuff you'd rather not even think about. But if you gonna heal, you gotta think about them. And not only that, you got to tell the truth. This is what we're doing. We're telling the truth. We're truth tellers. We don't hide under lies. We don't deal with lies. No lies. We don't do lies. We do the truth. We walk in the light of the truth, no matter how ugly it is. That ain't got nothing to do with it, baby. We just have to tell the truth, so we can begin to heal ourselves. So our children don't have to repeat this foolishness. That's what Yah's trying to do. And he need a few good men and a few good women who don't mind bearing their souls for all to see. Praise Yah, I'm one of them few good women. Praise the name of Yah. Dear Ma, and please excuse the noise. You know how it go. When you get ready to do something worth something, here come the flim-flam, the riff-raff. Dear Ma, wow. Never imagined that I'd be sitting here doing this. But then again, it's about time. You and I were never close. In fact, you were never really close to any of your children by the looks of it. I don't really know your story. I don't know what you went through in life and how it affected you, but I know my story, and I know how having you as my mother affected me. I won't say that you didn't love me and care for me. I mean, you did what mothers are responsible for: cooking, cleaning, and things of that nature. And since you did not raise us with the assistance of a husband, hence, no man was around for very long periods of time with a certain level of responsibility for any of us, save for one, you had to be mother and father. So that means that along with cooking and cleaning, you had to provide, enforce, as well as implement rules. I can say that you were stretched pretty thin. I can understand it. Although this narrative is not unusual amongst our communities. But having to raise 3 boys, you had to be tougher and most times harder than most. You didn't want them to try you. I get it. But then there was me, not necessarily going to try anyone, and didn't. But I was different. I was sensitive. You knew that, but you didn't understand it. And you really didn't try to, because for one, it made you uncomfortable. You saw it as a weakness. I understand that too, but you were wrong. It wasn't a weakness. It was actually a strength. And quite frankly, you did not have a whole lot of time, nor did you have much nurturing in you. Aside from your motherly and fatherly duties, you also wanted to have a relationship with the opposite sex. Not too many men would want to deal with a woman with 4 children as a provider. So you weren't holding out for a stand-up guy. That would make you an honest woman. You took what was available, playing hit or miss from the looks of it. I know what that's like. I mean, at one point, you were all over the place. You had your boyfriend living with you, and my father was living there at the same time. Like, okay. I'm not here to bring up your past. You know your past better than I do. I'm just trying to convey that I was paying attention. I didn't say much, but that's largely because who would listen? Who would care what I have to say? Exactly. Yeah, I had siblings, but I was a lonely child. Good thing I played well by myself, and I was by myself often because I was the one who had a different daddy. So I got treated differently. I don't remember getting put through a window, but the scar on my left shoulder reminds me of the event. I was told and reminded all too often that my father was a jailbird. What that has to do with me? What does that have to do with me? I'll never know. I don't know why they felt the need to tease me about that so much. Could be that they knew I was different also. Highly sensitive I was, and maybe they just wanted me to feel bad. Because generally, I was a very chill and easygoing little girl. I loved everybody and everything. I had no foreknowledge of evil, and I certainly had not detected it in my own family. But it was there nonetheless. I was born into it. Now, don't get me wrong. It wasn't all bad. There were some good times, and I distinctly remember most of those good times is when you and T were together. That man worked. He knew how to do things. He was kind, gentle, selfless, and a giver. He took care of you and your 4 children. Christmas, birthdays, and other holidays were lit on the strength of him. And I loved him. You couldn't tell me that he wasn't my daddy. I called him that, and no one had to tell me to. I wanted to. It felt right as rain. I remember one birthday, I believe I was turning 8 or 9, and I'm not sure if he didn't have funds at the time, but I remember he baked me a birthday cake and sang happy birthday to me. Nort was there. Listen, I will always remember that. I don't recall anyone baking me a birthday cake before or ever since that day. And you probably did. I just don't recall that, but I recall that time. He had love for me and it showed. To this day, can't nobody say anything adverse about him to me. I don't care what he did or what he doing. He means a lot to me. And this ain't about him, but I needed you to know, because the day y'all split up was devastating to me. My world literally and philosophically came to an end. Aside from the big birthdays, presents, and lots of clothes and shoes, I lost my protector. And it was back to relying solely on welfare and Section 8, you being the mother and father. Stress. Is it a wonder that I got pregnant at 15? Were you shocked? You know, I had been molested at a very young age by that man you told me used to love you at your 65th birthday party. I vaguely remember him, but the set-apart spirit within me told me who he was. He told me that all those issues I used to have and be involved in started with him. I was like, wow. I remember still vaguely, but that's probably because I buried those memories. The set-apart spirit also told me that in a way, you knew he was doing it. You just didn't say anything. And he told me how that type of thing works and how it's quite common in single mothers to turn a blind eye to certain things they would rather not have to deal with. And so that's how that whole thing of me playing with myself started. Experimenting with my girl cousins and sometimes with my very own brothers. And then much later with so many men. Woo, child. I had many bodies. Yeah. Messed with any and everyone I wanted. And some that I didn't. I'm not blaming anyone, just writing to say that I understand. I'm just so grateful that I found y'all, or that I was found by him rather. Because y'all knows where I'd be right now and what I'd be doing and what would have been happening to my children. Even though since I had Daz early, he got to see much of my trauma play out. No doubt he was affected in a major way, but Yah is helping him heal. I prayed earnestly for that very thing, and believe it or not, I prayed earnestly for you too. Shalom.